little bit different. Typically it's me trying to teach you something and trying to make you more successful by focusing on information that you need to know to make informed choices. Well, this time we're going to focus more on you. See, because this time of year is when people start thinking about New Year's resolutions. We're around family, we're around food, we have all of these treats and other things. We have all these traditions, which is great, but at the same time, in the back of our head, we're thinking, oh man, here comes that new year and I really want that new me. But what if we changed it up a little bit? What if we focused, instead of on a new you, we focus more on, how about just being the best you? What could that mean? What would be different about that? Well, some of the differences would stop paying attention to what the scale says. The scale is a measurement tool. It's not a definition of who you are. Secondarily to that, we're going to set realistic goals. We do New Year's resolutions every year. And by February, over 90% of those have already failed, mainly because we set unrealistic expectations on ourselves. And then, of course, the third and the most important is we basically try to do these things on our own. We venture out in these journeys, basically taking whatever information we can find on different internet sources and the like. And speaking of internet sources, please, whatever you just know, WikiLeaks or Wikipedia is not a great source of information with regard to your health and wellness journey. So what we want to do today is we want to backtrack. We want to focus on the most important things you can do to be successful in defining the best you, as opposed to trying to reinvent yourself. First, set a goal. What is that goal going to be? What is it going to look like? Is it going to be related to weight? Well, if you're going to set a weight goal, you need to understand that about 98% of weight loss goals fail. That's just the reality. 98% fail. But over 80% of people that focus on muscle gain, fat loss, succeed. So what's the difference? At IDLife, we're here to provide you those resources and tools so that you can achieve those goals, so that you can understand what that means, so that you can understand what it means for the body to go catabolic because you didn't listen to your trainer who told you you need to eat before your workout. Or most importantly, you didn't listen to your trainer who said you needed to drink your water and get enough sleep because that's going to help you with recovery and help you build muscle. All of these things are things that can get you on track, things that can help you. So first and foremost, we're going to set those goals. The goals are going to be simple. We're going to say, okay, this year I'm going to take an assessment. So like IDLife has the free ID assessment. That assessment's going to tell me where to start because it's going to give me a true measure of my health. We have that score, that health score. Remember, the health score is not a definition of who you are. It's a definition of where you're starting. We all start somewhere. As we say all the time, the average score is between 60 and an 80. If you score below a 60, don't worry, we all start somewhere. If you score above an 80, you know what, you might want to go back and take it a second time and maybe be more honest with the assessment this time. We say that tongue in cheek, but the reality is this. A lot of times what we believe to be true is different than what really is true. So what we want to do is we want to be very honest. We want to start with that assessment and then set those small goals. See, the biggest issue that people have when they're setting those goals is, for instance, when they're starting on a weight management goal, they want to focus on the 40 inches around their waist. The reality is they should be focused on the 6 inches between their ears. Because if they focus on the 6 inches between their ears, focused on those small little habits and changes, then we can actually have a major impact on our behavior. If you have a major impact on your behavior, you'll have a long-term impact on your health and wellness goals. So that's first and foremost. Let's talk about accountability. Did you know that 80% of the people that are successful in weight management or weight loss goals have an accountability partner? Now, you may not have that, but the reality is because you're here at IDLife, because you're a part of who we are, we have that accountability for you. We have social networks. We have an online community. Heck, we just are here every Wednesday teaching you what you need to know, why you need to know it, and most importantly, giving you the information that you need so that you can be successful. We are here to help. We can be that accountability partner for you, and that's what we want to do. So set that accountability standard. Now, what does that mean? That means share your struggle as well as your success. See, most people, when they're going to start on these new you concepts, they set an unrealistic expectation. In other words, they think that they have to do something 100% of the time, otherwise they're a failure. Or they define foods as good and bad. Let me tell you what happens in those situations. If you set that 100% goal, guess what? We all are going to fail. We have addictions. We have things that we love. We have certain smells that trigger responses that we're going to react to. We have to be able to give ourselves permission sometimes not to be perfect. Secondarily to that, when you define foods as good or bad, what happens if you accidentally have one of those foods that you've defined as bad? Well, what happens is you feel like a failure, and now all of a sudden you have another one. Now all of a sudden you really feel bad, and now all of a sudden you've quit Because at the end of the day, what you've done is you've basically decided, well, this is just too hard for me, I can't do it. Let me introduce you to something that we call the 80-20 rule. See, the 80-20 rule gives you permission 20% of the time to be yourself, to have an enjoyable evening, to actually enjoy the holidays without the threat of you getting off track. So the reality is, if we know that 80% of the time we follow a health and wellness regimen that is a better choice than we're currently making, that we can be much more successful in 2018 than we were in 2017 in our health and wellness goals. See, the idea behind this is long term. This is not short term. I was at one point in my life 307 pounds. I did not lose my weight in a day. Most importantly, I didn't gain my weight in a day either. It took me about 10 years from going from college athlete to that big. But guess what? It took me a while to lose it as well. But every time I tried to lose it fast, I gained it and more back. When I realized that this is a journey that I'm on and that I'm going to have an accountability partner and I'm going to set goals that are realistic and I'm going to follow those goals, guess what? It allowed me to stay on track. So be realistic with yourself. Know what you're trying to do. Know why you're trying to do it. Most importantly, have a long-term goal, not a short-term goal. And then, of course, the other thing, and probably the most important thing, is what are we going to do with choosing the diet that we're going to follow? Here's what I want to tell you. Everybody's on a diet. Everybody chooses certain foods that they're going to eat. In fact, most people are eating between 17 and 20 of the same foods all of the time. Instead of choosing a diet that may or may not fit within your regimen, get an understanding of what your diet means to you. Understand, take the time to actually create a food journal that shows, okay, here are the foods that I eat on a regular basis. What do those look like? If I understand what I'm currently eating, maybe I can understand why I'm eating them. Maybe I can understand, where my addictions are. Maybe I can understand why I like the things that I like. And then by simply substituting one or two of those things for something, a healthier option, now what happens is I'm affecting my overall health by simply changing one or two things as opposed to throwing my normal diet out the window and starting with something completely new. It's a different concept. There's a lot of things we can talk about. And this year, we're going to be talking about the best you. That's the whole idea behind what we're going to do. Forget the new you concept. You are the best you. Right now, you don't think you are, but the idea is I'm here to tell you, IDLife is here to tell you that you are the best you. The most important thing you can do for yourself is educate yourself. Understand that the choices that you're making every day have an impact on your health. Understand what impact on your health they are. And most importantly, get a better understanding of when you make those choices, what the long-term residual effect could be and might be if you just make small little incremental changes as opposed to overall major changes that you can't stick with. We want to help you. Our social community wants to help you. Our associates, our employees, our executive staff want to help you. We are here to help you. And most importantly, we have the tools and resources to do so. So on behalf of IDLife, I'm Mark Bennett, and I want to thank you for being here, but most importantly, I want to thank you for choosing IDLife as your health and wellness partner in this year where we're not going to define a new you, but we're going to show you how to be the best you.